You did not do it.
It's me doing me, right?
Right as sharp. That's insane. Belly bush. What a pleasure.
Another compliment. There she is. Good morning and welcome to Hot Mics on a Monday morning. Please hit subscribe on YouTube if you have not. It is Economic D-Day in America. Any country doing business with Tehran will face tremendous economic consequences. He called it the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. This is the latest offering from the boy who cried wolf. Liberation Day, the tariff announcement by executive order, Operation Absolute Resolve, Operation Inherent Resolve, Operation Midnight Hammer, Operation We're going to crush you because we're big and you're small, very small, and I'm having a great time. It's fun. I've got the keys to the military. It's a really good time. Also, we have a deepening trade war with Canada. Why not? Why not fuck with Canada one more time? Why not? Trump imposed 50% tariffs on $20 billion worth of Canadian goods on Saturday, and now Canada is going to retaliate dollar for dollar starting September 8th. Paper products, milk, cheese, butter, wine, beer, whiskey, vodka, gin, these are all going to be more expensive. You know it's bad when you're saying, God, I hope cooler heads prevail, and one of those cooler heads belongs to Natalie Harp. Like, Natalie, please jump in there. Sunday, we've got the Indy race in D.C., kind of a cool look. Trump takes the beast around for a lap, another manly move to reinforce the tough and hard guy image, which is, frankly, one of his more brilliant cons. Co-opting the UFC would be the ultimate, right? That was the master class. But he puts forward the image of a hard guy. This is a man who wears bronzer every day. He has an on-staff colorist for the hair. He's never worked out, never once gone to a gym, lifted a weight, never happened. Riding around in a golf cart is maximum workout. There he is in the beast, if you're looking on the screen, driving around. It's absolutely, yeah, I mean, it's smart. It's a great display. It's like, doing a lap or a circling Daytona. The racetrack. But manual labor, chopping wood, do you think Trump knows where the fuse box is at Mar-a-Lago? If he had to, go and flip the switch, I don't think so. Anyway, America is strong. She is elastic. She will survive. Let's turn our attention on this Monday to the Clancy trial. Wow. It is ongoing. It is day, I believe, 19 now. This is the murder trial in Massachusetts that really has become a proxy for how people view society's ills. The New York Times put it this way: is the crime so heinous that insanity cannot excuse it, or is it so heinous that only insanity can explain it? Closing arguments are coming this week, probably Wednesday, if I had to guess. But today, Kevin Reddington, the attorney for Lindsay, Clancy, finished up with Dr. Avram Mack. I watched the whole thing early this morning. Two more rebuttal witnesses are on the way for the Commonwealth. Someone named Dr. Kirk Heilbronn, whose specialty is violence risk assessment. Who knows? Dr. Gregory Satoff, he's coming. He's from founder and director of UVA's Critical Incident Analyst Group. I almost think that Kevin Reddington should have just rested after Dr. Mack in the middle. Oh, God, he's back on with him. They're still going. I mean, he hates him. I just posted on Instagram the highlights of Kevin Reddington 2.0 going after this guy. But, there's a lot of debate about Lindsay Clancy online. I saw Spencer Pratt posting something yesterday, another one of his 10-minute videos. And I commented in there because, I know and like Spencer. But I commented, hey, I'm with you on 95% of what you're saying. And I was talking about TikTok mommy sleuthing and, it's a little out of hand. These, conspiracy theories that, you know, some woman in her car is coming up with zero corroboration. It's kind of the world we live in. As long as you don't take those people, or a lot of them, you know, word for word, you got to take it with a grain of salt and maybe go to a more trusted source on something important. Hello, people who take time to research and to make sure that they're correct. Yeah, he talked about, you know, we live in this crazy world where all these theories about how Charlie Kirk died, and, you know, we're explaining away, we're demoralizing, I guess is what he said. But he included in this, you know, explaining away Lindsay Clancy. That here we are. How did we get to this place where a woman can kill her kids, and we're gonna, you know, find excuses for her? See, I disagree there, because I already know that I don't understand enough about postpartum psychosis and, you know, the depths of postpartum depression into psychosis, how that can happen. I feel it's too real. I've heard too many other examples of how a woman can tumble into totally psychotic and dissociative behavior. And the fact that our medical establishment, and you especially look at COVID, right, where all of a sudden all these apps came out, all these telemedicine, telehealth apps, and quick and easy fixes. You know, remote work is one thing, right? But now remote work in psychiatry, when you're dealing with a woman who has psychotic thoughts, intrusive thoughts about taking the lives of her children or harming them in some way, that's not okay. The expediting of major human emotional events, you know, using technology, not good. Psychiatry took the bait quickly and easily. Like I told you, I've seen a psychiatrist for a long time. I mean, I don't see him anymore, but I did for many, many years. And I saw him in person. And when we did telehealth, it was after many, you know, an established working relationship. The fact that Lindsay Clancy saw this 32-year-old kid when she was 32 herself, you know, she's scared to death. She's a young woman. She doesn't know what these things are she's feeling. And she's got a 32-year-old, she's got a toddler who's, you know, in charge of her mental health, who's been on the job for a month. No way. Just not okay. And here she is just, oh, try this. Here's a prescription. Here's a prescription. You know, psychiatrists have become, in large part, just the Candyman. They've become script writers. They don't see you in person. By the way, in my own family, I've had to go to battle with psychiatrists who have given loved ones of mine medicine without really enough consultation about why we're taking that. The overprescribing of America is absolutely an epidemic. There's no question about it. Dr. Avram-Mack, back on the stand this morning in the Lindsay Clancy trial, and Lindsay's attorney, Kevin Reddington, we will call him, was on the Mack attack again. But why don't, before we get into that, let's take a look at Friday. Harry, cue up Friday, please. Harry put together a nice little highlight reel of two guys that totally hate each other, Kevin Reddington and Dr. Avram-Mack.
What did she tell you about the education?
Wait, listen. You look over there and listen to the question and answer the question.
You know Pak Dietz, I imagine, right?
I do.
Yes. And you know that he's the guy that testified in the case and cited a Law and Order episode that didn't exist at the time he gave his opinion. So is he still active? Is he a psychiatrist now?
Yes, he's a psychiatrist. What do you mean by investigate?
You don't know what investigate means? You want me to explain that to you? Tell the jury what you investigated about her anxiety with the nanny. Where in here does it say that you ever came within breathing distance of a pregnant woman and your practice and your interest in your writings? Well, postnatal depression for a woman who's pregnant or had a baby recently is a heck of a lot different than some guy who's just depressed about his job, right?
I don't understand your question.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Just make it quick. I don't want to show you anything. I'm asking you as a testifying witness for this jury, did you look at her medical record?
Over time, Ms. Clancy has avoided taking medications.
She's what?
Avoided taking medications.
Says who?
The description she gave me.
She told you that?
My,
No. Tell me what you mean by she resists taking medications. She didn't tell you that she was resistant to medication in grammar school and high school and college? What are you making this up?
well, it's in there, but I'll find it in the book.
Why don't you look for it?
Why don't we do one thing at a time?
Yeah, I'd
Right?
like to, I'd
Why
like
don't-
to
and that
finish
would
speaking.
be, you said you're going to find it. Just find it.
Okay.
And then once you find it, then we'll go on to the second part, which would be asking questions and answering questions.
This is what they talk about with postpartum psychosis and postpartum depression, eating disorders, and the difference between women and men. It's not in your report, though, is it?
Okay. Time as my evaluation.
Hold on for a
Hold on a
second.
second. Hold on a second, Doc. Sorry. All right, let's go ahead.
Oh, what a smooth move. Help out the court reporter. Help out the court reporter with the coughing. If you were listening to this, like, just audio only, which is what Allie, my girlfriend Allie, she walks around the house with the speakerphone going of Kevin Reddington. Allie's listening to Kevin Reddington all weekend long. I swear to God, if Kevin Reddington was a single man, he's probably not. If he showed up, with a bag on the front door of my house, Allie would hand me a suitcase and say, "Get out. I now live with Kevin Reddington." The guy is. How do you describe this lawyer? He is one in a million. And I've told you I have a massive crush on Kevin Reddington, but he is credible. He is likable. He has built up enough capital with the jury and, frankly, the court of public opinion and the judge, who is very much on his side. He's built up all this capital with people and now he's spending it because he is getting a little irritable and he's getting a little, badgery. But I'm down for it, man. I am here for every bit of it. He's earned it. He is the best attorney this woman could have, and he is going to prevail. This is going to be, after Mo Vaughn, the case that he is absolutely known for. He can hang his hat on this one. He has been unbelievable. He says to Dr. Mack, "Where in here does it say that you have any experience with pregnant women's mental health?" He's going bonkers. Harry, there's another one from CBS Boston. They put up a nice long Reddington versus Mack. Do you have that ready to go? Let's pop that up. This one.
Tell you that she
This
was
one's-
resistant to medication in grammar school and high school and college? What are you making this up?
Objection.
Yeah, sustain. Next question.
She didn't tell you that.
I understand her to have told me that generally she did not want to be taking medications. She didn't necessarily specify in grammar school, but that is her basic.
College.
Yes, I think that her description was as a adolescent and as a young adult, she was not interested in taking medications.
You really have that written down somewhere?
I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I believe that that's what I understand it to
You
be.
believe that's what it is, you don't know whether you have it written down somewhere, right?
Can I refer to my
Read the
report?
whole report, I don't care. Because it's not there.
Well, on page 8, what I had written was
Yeah, that's the same clip. But anyway,
Ms. Clancy's
you get the idea. Reddington is he's unbelievable. Harry, I sent you a my Instagram post. I posted something this morning, but I sent you the raw video of that. I texted it. You can load it up. I'll share it with people. We'll premiere it here, because it's just so good. And all of that was from Friday. What I posted this was from this morning, where they go for round 2. It's unbelievable. All right, let's get some comments here. Mary Troutman says Big Red is the man. Friday and this morning, he ripped that guy a new one. He did. You know, I think it almost went on a little bit too long. My dog answers questions better than Mac. It's so true. And the judge Judge Sullivan is very much with Kevin Reddington. Like, you know, he's getting irritated too. Oh, God, blessed mom from Texas says he's amazing, right? Billy, interview him, please. I have texted Kevin Reddington 3 times, and it's getting stalkery. But also he's deep in this trial, and every minute he has to relax. So I'm not going to text him again until this is over. But I was talking to my good friend, Alan Jackson, who you all know from the Karen Reed trial. Alan and I are having a martini on Wednesday. And I said, what do you think about this Kevin Reddington? He was like, oh my God. I mean, wow. He was moved. He's moved. These are 2 guys that I got to get them together. I got to be in the middle of that. You know what I mean? Reddington having probably a Sam Adams draft on the left and slightly more polished, you know, Alan Jackson having his Vesper Martini, and me in the middle having both. Oh my God. Would that be great? Here we go, blessed mom. Can I meet you and Alan Jackson? Come on by. Why not? He's knee deep in a lot of stuff too. Alan's got a trial in Malibu. That's a big deal. That starts up Fraser Bohm, the young kid who was driving late at night. He was not drunk. He was being chased by a guy with road rage, allegedly, I should say, but he came whipping around Dead Man's Curve on the Pacific Coast Highway up by Pepperdine, and car slid out, crashed into 2 parked cars that sandwiched these 4 girls, and they died. Alan's trying to get that down from second-degree murder. They do this in California a lot. They escalate things to second-degree murder, and he's trying to say, look, it's involuntary manslaughter. This is not a vehicular manslaughter. Yeah, see, here's Jackie right there. She's following the Fraser Bohm case. She does not have the spelling of the kid's name correct, but she does have I think it's Bohm. Anyway, we will be covering that case. Yes, we will be covering that case. I'm going to talk a little bit about it with Alan on Wednesday. And, you know, that's part of our ongoing true crime, which I love courtroom. I should have been a lawyer, man. I'm beyond into this stuff. So back to Kevin Reddington's least favorite human being in the world, Dr. Avram Mack. He did continue on the stand this morning with Kevin. I'm not totally sure that they're finished because the prosecution keeps popping back in. The awful prosecution. I cannot imagine these assistant DAs have a very bright future after this performance. But Avram Mack worked with only 10 women since 2001, we find out. As far as postpartum psychosis goes, he goes 1 or 2. I can't remember if I've testified in 1 or 2 cases. When you can say 13 or 14, or 7 or 8, I understand. But 1 or 2, it's either 1 or it's 2. This guy is so elusive. He's stubborn. He's rude. And I think he's won't answer directly because it's sort of a cockfight with Kevin Reddington, which is on the state's dime. And, you know, there's this company called, I think it's Park Dietz and Associates, and they're basically like a speakers bureau, right? If I give speeches around the country and, you know, there's Lots of companies that can represent me at the Speakers Bureau, including the Speakers Bureau. And that's like the Testifiers Bureau. And they book this guy, and he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year testifying in cases. And right now, I think his rate just went down. Dr. Mack says he did not interview Lindsay Clancy until April of 2026. So 3 years later, and only for 2 days. His license has expired in multiple states. The major accusation of this guy is that he is 100% pay to play. And it's hard not to support that assertion. Here are Dr. Mack's assertions regarding Lindsay Clancy, that she has major depressive disorder, not psychosis. That's what he's saying. He's paid to say that. The postpartum period, he says, is 4 weeks post-birth only. Really? First of all, you're not a woman. You have no right to say that. There is no science around postpartum. There's no science that shows you brain activity. And so Kevin Reddington says, well, I believe it can be longer. I think most women would agree it can be longer than 4 weeks. Who's this guy to put, a time frame on it? He says that Lindsay understood her actions were wrong at the time. She understands them now. At the time, that's going to be a tough sell. Dr. Mack claims that Lindsay had a lifelong resistance to taking medications, to which Big Red responded with vigor. She didn't tell you that. Oh, my God. It was unbelievable. So they continued this morning. Harry's got my Instagram. This is the post that I just put up literally 15 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago on Instagram about round 2. Here we go. Morning, Kevin Reddington, attorney for Lindsay Clancy, continues with his least favorite person in the world, Dr. Avram Mack, this time on Zoom, because it didn't go well when they were in person last Friday. 48 seconds in, he is pissed.
What is your understanding of what the K scale is seeking to find out? What are you smiling for? This is not funny, sir.
The state.
Next
question.
You're using terms that make it that I can't answer your question.
Postpartum psychosis, you can't answer? You know what that is, don't you?
Are you referring to the proposed diagnosis that we referred to earlier?
I'm referring to the fact that this young lady was suffering from postpartum psychosis when she killed her kids. Do you know what postpartum psychosis means? Delusional beliefs distorting reality is a symptom. Yes or no? Not waxing and waning with your answer. Yes or no?
Are you referring to an authority there?
Doctor, agree.
Doctor, hold on.
Oh, here comes the judge.
I told you before, if you can't answer a question the way it's framed, just let me know, and I'll tell counsel to frame it in a different way.
The prosecution cannot get this moron off the stand fast enough. He is tanking their case. They were tanking it before on their own. They didn't need any help. Now, kaboomski. Oh, yeah. It's a disaster. Harry, I texted you a link there, or a request to send a link to a very special guest. And those who are Hot Mike's faithfuls, the pineapplers, the upside down pineapplers of this world will know this man. They will want to see this man. And he is a special guest. Send him a link just in case. He's, yeah, you can just text him a link because he's going to be on.
I did that just now, so I'm getting his email address. I did want to say that I caught Mac on Friday while I was watching this case. Look at the prosecution, not once but twice, and smile and nod his head like, am I saying what you need me to say?
Is this going well? And they're going like this.
Yeah. No, you're screwing this up.
Yeah. Old Shannon Buckingham. First of all, Shannon Buckingham and Jennifer Sprague have done enough on their own to tank their case, like I said. But this guy is taking it over the top. And by the way, we have 2 more rebuttal witnesses to go. Kirk Heilbronn and Gregory Satoff are waiting in the wings. Jackie says in the comment section, Dr. Drew said it can come in waves. Andrea Yates was unstable in general. Yeah, I get the sense, I don't get the sense that Lindsay Clancy was. I mean, she was a labor and delivery nurse, and the women, you know, especially the Margaret Hamp, or whatever her name is, the woman who was a nurse with her at Mass Gen, you know, said she was just a delight, a lovely person. She loved her kids. She was constantly talking about ways to, you know, improve their lives. It's all she cared about. This is a total tragedy. You know, I don't understand the hardliners here. People who are like, she killed her kid. I mean, I get it. I don't want to demonize anybody's view. I get it. I get it if you honestly come by that opinion. But I don't know. I have room for nuance here because so much is unknown. The psychiatry industry has really made very little progress in the last 4 decades. They don't really understand what medicine, you know, should go with what disease and why. The science isn't there. People used to call it the baby blues, you know, and you had them or you didn't. And now we give you a whole bunch of things that F with your biochemistry, and it's a roulette wheel, man. It either hits and you get lucky and it helps and you get out of it. I'll never forget when I did the interview back in 2005 with Brooke Shields, right? This was what exploded the Tom Cruise thing. Oh my God. I interviewed Tom Cruise in 2005 in a 30-minute Access Hollywood special. We never ever once wiped the format of Access Hollywood, which is short story after short story and maybe 12 of them in a half an hour and you're done. But we, for one night, did a special. And it was just a half an hour special on Tom Cruise. I wrote Tom Cruise a letter. And I said, you know, we're always asking you about whatever girl you're dating or, you know, and you never are into it. You always kind of talk about Scientology and things that people have been bored with up until this point. But how about you and I sit down and talk about it? Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Let me engage you on that. So he made me go to like 4 different Scientology centers around Hollywood. I went to the Narcotics Anonymous or whatever it is, where they deal with, you know, they put you in a sauna to get you off of drugs. I went to the Educational Center, the Learning Center. I went to the Celebrity Center. And I did all my homework and logged my hours of training before I sat down with Tom Cruise at the Education Center on Hollywood Boulevard. And we did a long interview. And I'll never forget, Tom's major stance at the time was he was very anti-psychotropic drugs. And I challenged him by personalizing it. I said, okay, I understand that, but you know, the first movie you did was Endless Love with Brooke Shields, way back in the day. And recently, your co-star in that movie, Brooke Shields, came out and said that she got through postpartum depression, thank heavens, by using the drug Paxil. And Tom turned to me and he said, oh yeah? Where's her career now? How well did that go for her? You're saying that Brooke Shields, and he kind of ripped Brooke Shields. Now this backfired in a tremendous way on Tom Cruise because he had built up a ton of capital with women. Women adored Tom Cruise. Risky business Tom Cruise. You know, Top Gun Tom. And it exploded in his face. He had to lay low. And if you'll remember, amazingly, like Brooke Shields and Katie Holmes were on the same floor in the same hospital delivering their babies at the same time. Do you remember that? How weird that was? And afterwards, Tom and Katie forged this tremendous friendship with Brooke Shields. He reached out and was like, we need to become friends or else my career is going to explode. And if you're Brooke Shields and you get an opportunity to be friends with the biggest actor in, that's a good drafting situation there. I don't know what or she found some love for the guy. Anyway, they became friends and Tom survived the storm. But Brooke Shields got lucky with that roulette wheel. And Paxil worked for her. And she credits Paxil for helping her get over postpartum depression. Boy, I'd like to reach out to Brooke. I think I have her number. That would be a really good interview conversation to get back together with her. My uncle, George H.W. Bush, loved Brooke Shields. Invited her up to Kennebunkport, Maine in the summer, and she would come up there, and he just loved her. He was always just a big fan, and a fanboy. But anyway, that's where psychiatry is after all these decades, just not really much further down the road. I don't know why. Maybe AI can help solve, AI can detect breast cancer 5 years away. This is a new, why can't it brain map a little bit better? We can figure out more about postpartum. Anyway, the prosecution in this case is screwed. They have done a subpar, would be putting it politely, job of prosecuting this case. I don't think there's much more to go. I do think closing arguments will probably be on Wednesday. Here we go. Let's take a few comments now in the comments section. Look at this. Nunya. W was my favorite president because he could talk to any side of the aisle. Yeah, he had a great personality, had a nickname for everybody. I'd like to see us get back to that. Jackie says Dr. Drew hit the point. It basically boils down to where she'll be housed. Changes from all this is not going to be right away. By the way, thank you for that, Jackie. Programming note. Dr. Drew will be with us on Thursday. I'm going to tape an interview with him about all of this on Wednesday. We'll roll it back on Thursday. Drew's a good friend. Saw him recently on a plane and said, hey, can I have you on? He said, absolutely. And so that's going to happen Wednesday. We can brain map. Okay, neuroscience. Oh, wait, we have a scientist in here. Tell me more, neuroscience for all. Tell me more about why... Is my opinion off that psychiatry is tremendously lagging, that not much has been done? And if you're a psychiatrist, I'm sorry if I've offended you. If men gave birth, that would already be done. That's pretty good. See, people have different... Here we go. Here's Bernice. They put me on Paxil for my panic disorder, and it didn't help me at all. Follow up. It wound up giving me making my panic attacks worse. Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't have postpartum depression after I had my daughter, though. Yeah, it seems like also a roulette wheel. Jackie, Dr. Drew said it can come in waves. Oh, we just had that one. Okay. Yeah. Oh my God, this is real. Blessed mom from Texas. By the way, thank you for that super chat I think you just put $5 in the kitty so Harry can get a new coffee. You want a coffee, Harry? You can thank Blessed Mom from Texas. I wanted to put my son in the microwave. What is that called? They put me on Paxil 2 or certain. Well, I'm assuming you didn't do that, or else we'd be overseeing your trial right now. Here's Chrissy says, it is unreal how the scientists, doctors, etc., have not been able to come up with a solution to minimize postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. It's very real, and there is no timeline for it. Dr. Mack is a total joke, by the way. Hannah says, I went off my SSRI, my first pregnancy, and my son was born premature, probably. Oh, boy. But I hope he's okay today. Doctors have no time to treat anyone anymore. They just hand out prescriptions. I get that sense too. And if it's just an impression, it's not a good one. It's coming from somewhere. I wouldn't trust Dr. Mack to treat my dog. Yeah. It's really sort of, this is the most pivotal trial I have tuned in for that I can recall.
We're still waiting on Peter, just so you know. He was parking his car. So give him a couple minutes.
So my surprise guest that I told everyone about, you just told them that
I blew it.
You unveiled my guest, Peter Murphy.
This is my resignation. I'm out.
Peter Murphy is, for us upside down pineapplers of the world, our beloved 30-year Captain Sergeant in the Kenton Police Department. He was there every step of the way with us for the Karen Reed trial, and he's out there with his pink shirt now supporting Lindsay Clancy. You gotta love Peter Murphy. Anyway, we'll get Peter this week, if not today. Young mothers are good at creating a favorable impression. Psychiatrists are also accustomed to working with patients who can barely function. They concluded Lindsay was okay because she appeared normal. The problem with Lindsay is, I got it, Harry. I'll take the chat. The problem with Lindsay is her background is so different. She cried for help and no one helped her. Lindsay doesn't want to live. And if she gets out, who cares? Well, she'll be going to a psychiatric hospital. And by the way, there is no time frame on that. She's there until they think she's okay to leave. So, she's not okay to leave now. I can say that. I think she needs years of bolstering, but I would get her out into society. I don't think they should. Someone like Lindsay Clancy, I would take her somewhere. Let her have a job somewhere. Think about where her husband is in all of this. He's already married and moved on to, hot Rachel in New York. I don't know. They were in it together. Anyway, here's what's happening, guys. Wednesday, I believe, Thursday, possibly, closing arguments will happen. And I'm going to give my closing argument right now. Lindsay Clancy was, ironically enough, a labor and delivery nurse. She experienced debilitating insomnia and intrusive thoughts and other awful things. She visited the emergency room 2 times. She went to a day program. She called a suicide hotline. She checked into a residential program which discharged her. She messaged her psychiatric nurse practitioner, "I really need help." She got Zoom therapy from a toddler with 0 ground experience. 30 prescriptions from 13 medications. 30 prescriptions for 13 medications that she got. Nobody in all of that ever diagnosed her with postpartum psychosis. Add to that, her husband was in love with somebody else and either deliberately or negligently, in my opinion, deprived her of relief or support. For that reason, Lindsay Clancy is not criminally responsible. She is in need of psychiatric help and healing. She was a mother who loved her kids. This is an absolute tragedy. I can't throw away the keys on this woman because she was so unbelievably let down by a massive multi-billion-dollar industry that has not evolved in any sort of effective, meaningful way in this country in far too long. Okay? Take the resource. Forget we don't need to put her in jail for life. It accomplishes nothing. You need to use her to make meaningful change in our medical and psychiatric field in this country. That's it. We rest, okay? I hope they do the right thing. Okay. Let us get into Hayden Panettiere. Are you guys ready for this? I think we've done Lindsay Clancy adequately, and we are where we are, and we will be on this tomorrow.